That looks better.
Hello, hello. Good evening. So, Jamie, where are you?
I'm right here. Cheers. So for the first time, Becky and I are actually in the same place to do the live today. But of course, because we have all kinds of restrictions, as long as we're right next to each other, we'll keep the masks on. But since we want to have a drink, I'm going to go over to my desk.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
And off she goes. Hello.
Hi, everybody. So sorry we're minutes late. Zoom did not want to stream today for whatever reason, but we're here now. And hopefully you're having a good Sunday. And now, Peggy, we can do the official one.
Yes.
Sunday.
Cheers. Delicious as always.
So yeah, and actually we decided to be really healthy today. So we're drinking champagne with lots of antioxidants in it.
Yeah, I have to have some more antioxidants.
So tell us in the comments, what are you guys all drinking today? What do you have on your schedule today? What's going on? Are you in a good frame of mind or in a less good frame of mind? Go ahead and start the conversation and we'll start the conversation on this end, right?
Yes. Yeah, so today we're talking mindset.
And I'm just trying to open the Facebook one so that we can see what's happening.
Yeah, so I can start about mindset a little bit. So we did have this talk just before we started, before we tried our technical issues here. So what is the thing about mindset? So we have limiting mindsets, we have growth mindsets.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are positive mindsets and negative mindsets, right? And so I think they're kind of two different things. And I see that Jill is still only drinking coffee, but you know, it's 10 o'clock there, so that's okay. It's a good way to start the day.
Good morning, Jill.
So mindset. Yeah, we've talked a lot about mindset. And in fact, the episode from last week where we had Paul as a guest, we talked about mindset there. He actually kind of gave us a good example of a positive mindset. And apply a positive mindset to his recovery and to the vision that he had built for himself, right? And Peggy, you said kind of the key thing before about growth mindset, right?
Well, yeah, it's these limiting mindsets that keep us from like having a better job or having a fantastic relationship, or that just kind of we feel we're not worth for something. And I think those limiting mindsets, those are the ones that we have to get rid of, or at least we have to exchange them with the positive growth mindset.
Yeah, exactly. So if anybody's heard of this concept of growth mindset, go ahead and give us kind of a hand or a comment. We can see how many people are familiar with that concept. And this is something that comes from Carol Dweck, who's a professor at Stanford. A number of years ago, she wrote the book about growth mindset, where she talks about, you know, the science behind the way that mindset impacts the way we live our lives, that there are some people who go through life with what's called a growth mindset. And those are people who believe that we're unlimited, you know, that we can learn whatever we want to learn if we just work hard enough at it. And there are other people who have more of a fixed mindset, and they think that we're given a certain package, how intelligent we are, how good we are at things, and that's all you've got to work with. And that's where, you know, Peggy, you call it a limiting mindset, and it is a limiting mindset because those people don't like to embrace challenges because they see challenges as an opportunity to fail. And that failure shows that they're not as smart as the guy next door, right? Whereas somebody with a growth mindset sees challenges as an opportunity to grow and to learn. And so they embrace challenges and they want those in their life.
Yeah, and I think it's also very important that you hang around these people that can help you have a growth mindset, because it's also if you hang in there and you feel like you're limited in doing things, or you're limited in learning, or limited in getting a better job, that if you don't have anyone who tells you how it could work well or how it could get better, I think it's so important to talk to people that can be like a role model, that can help you also have these growth things and these thoughts about growth and about how to grow. And if you hang around, and we talked about that before, so if you hang around people that are just very negative all the time, and just, these people, right? So you meet them and then actually in a very good mood, and you just want to have like a chit chat talk, and then all of a sudden it starts all about life is bad, people are stupid, or politics terrible, or my boss is terrible, or my mom or my father, whatever. And it's after you've had conversations like that, when you walk away, it just makes you feel bad. And I think it's so important to hang around people that have a positive mindset, especially in times when things are difficult. It's even more important to hang around people that have a positive whole, attitude.
Absolutely. And so I want to come back to that, but I've seen that Natalie says that she definitely has a growth mindset. And so, and also Peggy, she says that there's an echo when you're talking. And so I'm not sure where that's coming from, but I'll check my setup over here to make sure it's not because of my computer. In the meantime, Natalie, I'm curious, you say that you have a growth mindset. So do you always have a growth mindset, or do you catch yourself sometimes having a growth mindset and sometimes having a fixed mindset? Because this is something that very often people will have a growth mindset in some aspects of life, but not everywhere. And then the challenge is how do you cultivate that in all aspects of your life and not just keeping it limited to one area. So that's one thing. Coming back to what you were just saying though, Peggy, about surrounding yourself with people who are positive. I read somewhere, and I don't remember where it was, the concept that every one of us is the average of the 5 people most important to us. And so if you take your closest friends and your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or whatever you have, or your children or whoever the people are that you spend the most time with and you feel the most close to, you're going to be the average of those 5 people. And so if you surround yourself with negative people, you're going to be negative by default as well, because you start to mirror the behaviors that you see every day. And so what you said before, that, engage with positive people, is absolutely critical, because if you surround yourself by that positivity, that's what you're going to emulate back as well. And it's energizing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's that feeling, exactly. It's energizing. It's that feeling that you have when you are with people that are positive. Do we actually have an echo?
I do hear a little bit of an echo, and I'm not sure where it's coming from.
No,
I guess it's better to
maybe
do it not
because we're
sitting.
sitting next to each other.
I'll try to fix it over here. So what are the things that you do to keep a positive mindset? Because you tend to be a very positive person.
I have these role models that I love these comedians, and I watch a lot of comedian shows, and I listen to these positive talks. Plus, I'm always Googling around for positive sentences, and I just had one. I found one on Instagram. I think I sent it to you as well, and I posted it. Is you cannot change the beginning, but you can always change the end. And so this is for me like this. It's a mindset thing, right? So things go bad maybe, but then there is always a way to change it for the better, and you don't have to hang in there with that bad thought that something didn't go the way you wanted. Maybe you failed at a project, or maybe you failed in a relationship, and then it doesn't mean that every other relationship or every other project has to fail, but you can always change it and think about it differently, and just like leave it behind and go on for bigger and better things. I love that sentence too. I think that's very good. And when I listen to meditations, for instance, I listen to these positive meditations. It's surrounding yourself with positiveness. And, it's my dog also.
So Peggy, why don't you check your sound settings while I chime in on what you were just saying? Because it could be that you have your computer and your headset sound on. And that might be where the echo is coming from. But in the meantime, you just talked about meditation. And I think this is one of the key things. I mean, if I think about kind of the different steps of cultivating a positive mindset and being positive in the way that you approach life and attack, whatever the challenges are, there are a few different things that come into mind. One thing is certainly, this idea that you've talked about, gratefulness is one. Especially when you're feeling negative about things, or that starts to creep into what you're doing, to take a step back. And whether you do it through meditation or through journaling, or just writing down a bullet point list, think about all of the things that you're grateful about. and really practice that gratefulness, because as you start to appreciate the good things in life, it's harder and harder to hold on to the negative things. Right. And there are negative things. I mean, none of us is going to walk through life saying, oh, everything is great all the time, all the time. And in fact, the science shows that you're not going to be successful if you try to do that, because then you're not prepared for the challenges when they get in your way. But really stopping and taking the time to feel gratefulness and to savor the good things that you have in life, and that helps to create that positivity for yourself. And then that's going to eke over into the relationships that you have around you as well.
So, actually, yeah, you're so right. I'm actually just trying to go on Stummschalten. If I turn my audio off, I think it's better. Maybe if I'm talking, you turn your audio off, then we cannot hear each other while we're talking. Yes, and yeah, I totally agree. And it's that positiveness that you really need, especially. I mean, not just today. It's at any time, and no matter what you do. Because also, I believe that a positive mindset is also very important for health, of course, because you can get really sick, you can get really ill. And I think like now when we're all worried about getting ill because it's now, fall and we could catch a cold, I think if you keep constantly thinking about it, you're more likely to catch one and you're more likely to get ill if you keep thinking about it all the time. So that's why I have to have some antioxidants.
Let's drink to health. I think everybody, whatever you have, whether it's coffee or a glass of water, drink to health, because that is a game changer.
Maybe orange juice, yeah.
So the other thing that I like to do, and this is one that is talked about in the psychology a lot, is when you start to get dragged down, whether that's something that's happened in your life or you're just having one of those days that you don't feel energetic and you kind of don't want to start anything, help somebody else. Yeah. And this is one that has been shown time and again, that if you help somebody else, the person who actually does the helping gets a bigger reward and a bigger boost than the person who's received the help. And it's hard to do that, because when we're not feeling energetic and we kind of don't feel in control of our own life, we're like, well, how am I going to find resources or time or whatever to help somebody else? But you actually get it back as a multiplication effect if you do take that step.
Well, and it doesn't have to be so difficult to do it. I mean, you could just help like a child that seems to maybe need some help, or maybe an older person that just, if you're in a bus or in the tram, and just to get up and have that person, give that person a seat. I think anything you do with empathy and helping someone, it doesn't have to be a big deal. I think it still makes you feel, you will feel good. You will feel better.
There's a comment in the group that Jill and Ross both have negative tendencies. I'm on mute still, sorry. There's a comment in the Facebook group that two people who both have negative tendencies, and they like to complain to each other, and they justify that that's important to do, to vent. And it is important to vent sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there's a suggestion that's really good, that they try to end the day with some kind of good news to lift themselves up again. And this is a game that I've always played with my son. When he was a child and when he went to bed, we always played the game at the end of the day. What was the one challenge? What were the two best things that happened today? And what was the one challenge? And how can you deal with that challenge better later on? And so at the end of the day, we always had a growth opportunity. How do you better deal with the challenges or the difficulties, or how can you feel okay about what wasn't so good during the day? And what were the two things that were really good about that day? And then you go to sleep with that positive, both in terms of how do I learn, as well as what can I celebrate and be grateful for today. And so thanks, Jill. That was a really good suggestion.
Yeah, my grandmother used to have a very nice suggestion as well. She always said, never go to bed when you had a fight without clearing up that fight. So also like with your partner, also with a friend or with your children, just never, ever go to bed with the fight in your mind still, and just clear it up. And I think that's very important. I think a lot of people we tend to be all stressed out, and then you have, you're upset, and then you say something, and then you just go to bed and you're mad. But then you take that as well to the next day. And then you can certainly not have a good night's sleep. So, and to think about that and be very aware of something like that, I think it can be a great help in boosting your mindset.
So another suggestion is giving people compliments. And that's a really easy way, isn't it, to help other people? And so recognizing and showing recognition for people and complimenting them is going to make them feel good as well as make you feel pretty good too. So that's a nice idea as well.
I'm going to do that right away because you look amazing today again.
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty tired. But thanks. I will take that with pleasure. So any other last kind of words of wisdom? This is so weird when we're looking at each other the way it looks online.
Yeah, and also with the Stummschalten all the time, I'm kind of confused. What's the last word? Well, I wish everybody a wonderful Sunday evening or a Sunday day. I mean, all the American or overseas listeners, have a great, wonderful day, and one with a very positive mindset. Go look for people that that are in a good mood, that can give you motivation and like good ideas and make you feel better. And try not to hang around with too many people with bad moods, or at least maybe try to get them to laugh. Maybe that could be also a good thing, to try and tell a joke.
So that's actually maybe my final thing, Peggy, is I have a one-person mission to make Germany a more friendly country. And so when I go out jogging, I make a habit of everybody that I meet while I'm jogging, I smile at them and I greet them. And most of the Ausländer looking people, so most of the immigration looking people, they smile back. But most of the German looking people kind of look at me like, what's your problem? But it's changing over time. And I think especially right now, people need human connection so much that more and more people smile back and greet me back. And then I tend to see sometimes the same, especially the little old couples that are out walking and stuff. And they know when they see me coming, they start to smile already before I smile at them. And so that's super rewarding. And so, yeah, I mean, just something as simple as a smile and a greeting can change other people's day. But I always come home feeling, better about that side of my run than the actual physical activity. So, yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I saw when we were jogging out a few months ago. That's really, I noticed that when you did that, I was like, what is she doing? And then, oh, but it's very nice and it makes you feel better. So it's a great tip. Yeah, like that.
So it's Sunday night or Sunday morning or whatever, we're all kind of planning for the week ahead and getting started on our week. So as you do that this week, when something comes up that starts to feel a little bit bad or starts to feel a little bit hard or like a challenge, I would encourage you to stop for a moment, to pause and to say, whatever this is, however hard it seems, how am I going to learn from it? And that's moving you more towards a growth mindset instead of seeing a challenge as a problem that could get in the way of you performing well. A challenge is an opportunity to learn to perform even better down the road, even if in that moment you're not able to do it.
Yeah, I love that. And then, when you did that and when you achieved it, then give yourself a treat and reward yourself and be proud of yourself that you did it. I think that's very important, to treat yourself as well.
Okay, and there is a comment in the Facebook group that we should be wearing a mask. We did have a mask on at the beginning, but now we're sitting 4 or 5 meters away from each other, which is why we took them off so that we could speak more clearly. So everybody stay safe out there, stay positive.
Yes, have a wonderful week.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.